I'm here today. I moved some hives. I moved hives the other day, only a few hundred yards. I have a yard just over, and I keep nukes there. It makes it easier. There's less bees flying, just no crap happening. So, but when you move hives, you have to either decide you're going to move them that 2.5 miles away, 3 miles, I think is the magic number, or if you're going to move them close by, you have to confine them, and that's all there is to it. You have to confine them, and if you don't want to confine them, then you have to cover up their entrance so that they have to reorient by coming out. I do both, and that's what I'm going to do today. So when we decided to move them, we went ahead and closed their entrances. I have found that when you confine for 3 days, it really has to be 3 days because they will go back. I've managed to lose a few bees, in this learning process, which is what we all have, is a learning process. You want to confine them for 3 days, and when you let them out, also then cover their entrance so they have to reorient as they come out. Otherwise, you can and will lose part of your population. At this time of year, that's not something I want to do because the populations are at their smallest. So I've moved them from the back area to the front. They were confined, and some of them are just confined here with the disc. Now, the populations are smaller because of the winter, and I do not want to lose populations. What I will end up doing is I'm going to take an excluder. There they are. You can see they just want to get out. Badly get out. Hey, girls. I'm going to take an excluder. Then I'm going to find some Spanish moss and twigs and release them. If you're moving a hive just a few feet, you don't have to confine them. You can move it slowly, slowly, slowly. One day, then the next day, and move it further and further until you can have the population follow. If you don't move it slowly, again, they can get lost. They'll stay in the original spot and for whatever reason just kind of hang out there. Mine are Italian. They tend to drift anyway. So if you've got Italian bees, you probably just fine moving it a few inches, a foot over. I have moved it maybe 2 feet. Just if I want to move it about 10 feet away, I'll just a foot, and I don't lose that way. Here's a couple of them. I have 10 that I moved, and I'm going to lay excluders up. That way I can just lean it out, and the idea is that you don't want them to come straight out of the hive. If they come straight out of the hive, they just think they're in the same spot they were, and when they go to return from foraging, they'll go right back to the original spot where I grabbed them, and I don't want them to do that. So next is, this is not quite enough. So what I want to do is I'm going to place some Spanish moss over the entrances. And make sure that they have to actually crawl out. You don't have to use excluders. Don't get all fussy and say you have to use excluders or anything. You can just pile up a big bunch of twigs or whatever you've got in your area. Spanish moss happens to be one of my nice little resources.
Two hours later.
Calm down.
Okay, so now the excluders are in place with their moss. No one's open yet. And some may say, hey, this is overkill. And obviously, commercial guys don't do this. That's fine. I'm not commercial, and I don't pretend to be. So, now the matter is just to open them. This is day 3. This is day 3 of them being confined. I moved them on Thursday, so this is Sunday. So they should have been more than able to readjust their compass, and I am probably doing overkill. Can you do too much? You cannot let them out. That's too much. So it's about 3:30, and it gets dark at 4:54. So they have a couple hours to reorient, get back in, and then we have a week of them just to fly before more rain, which is what we've been waiting for. So let's open them up. You want to hold this and just open them? I'm going to open them on the smallest opening. That way they have even more time to just readjust. And out they come. Again, populations are not huge, so they're not going to just bust out like as if it was the original package. If you're doing a dial syrup, put it on that small one. Yeah. Again, you want them to have to fight their way out, so to speak. That's how I did this one too. Especially if it's wire, I just did the half opening so that they can't really just jump and run. Oops. Make sure those sides are covered. You have to climb through all that mess. That's what you want. You got it?
That's all of them.
Okay. Thank you. That one seems pretty busy. This one seems the busiest. And you can see they'll have to go right through all that mess. Then they can come out and orient right where they are. As long as they're not flying straight away, you did okay. The little bit you might lose during the spring is not the same as what you might lose in the fall. So don't not confine them in the fall. In the spring, you have population, you can rebound. In the fall, you can't. So like, subscribe, share, and until next time, happy beekeeping.